Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking out a couple minutes of your day this morning and checking this video out, man. I always appreciate it. It's always never take it for granted, and just big thanks for taking a few minutes to check this out. But hey, this YouTube deal that I'm doing, man, it's just a work in progress. I've got some ideas where I want it to go, but a lot of it is just how I wake up in the morning and what I want to do with it. And some of the secrets and tips I share with you guys, I look back on them and say, now that was okay, that was an okay tip, or that was a pretty good tip, or that was a really good tip. And the video I'm going to share with you guys today, and the tip I'm going to give with you guys, is what I consider a really good tip that you need to know, as far as something that will actually help your fishing and help your mindset of your fishing, and that has to do with self-doubt. So anyway, before we get started on it, just wanted to remind you guys that tonight Johnny and I have our weekly podcast on Fish the Moment Live. Check it out tonight, man. Just go on, just Google Fish the Moment Live YouTube channel and join us at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Largest live podcast in the country, and hope to see you guys there, because we, answer questions and all that type of stuff. It's going to be a good time. Okay, let's talk a little bit about self-doubt and fishing. Start out with, I remember what it's like when I was a kid and I'd be watching these fishing shows like Jimmy Houston or Roland Martin or some of these guys that we all grew up watching. And I remember or Harold Inslee, for me, he was the big one. He's a guy I'm going to do a legend show on here pretty quick. But anyway, when I got done watching these shows, I couldn't wait to get out of the house to go fishing. I just wanted to go fishing because I'd see these guys catch these big bass, catfish, crappie, whatever. They just rip them everywhere they went. And number one, I didn't have a lot of places to go fishing because I was a kid and I couldn't just take up and go. The closest lake was 30 some miles away at Grand Lake. I didn't have a boat. So there was a frustration that went around that, because even when I went fishing, I didn't have the skills. I mean, I didn't, my dad, he didn't fish a lot. He fished some, but he did a lot of crappie fishing. I did a lot, but it's like he was a recreational angler. He didn't study it to learn about it. So I didn't have the skills or knowledge or information to go out and catch fish when I got to the lake. So what would happen is I would go out to the lake on the times that I got to go to the lake, and normally I wouldn't do any good. I wouldn't catch any fish. And it would be so frustrating because I'd see all these guys catching these hogs on TV. So I understand the frustration. If you guys are having a hard time, if you go fishing and you get out there and fish and you're not successful, I understand that frustration. And that's one of the things I'm here to help with. All the years that I've been fishing now, the 50 some years, this is sort of my niche I'm finding out, where I can share this information that I've learned to help you guys catch fish and avoid that frustration. But when it comes to self-doubt, here's one of the things I want to share with you guys to sort of make it easy on yourself. When you look at other anglers that are super successful, all these guys out there, these tournament pros that rip them all the time, these guys that win tons of tournaments, these guys that you see at the top of the list all the time catching them, and you look at them and say, man, how are those guys so good compared to me? Is you have to realize that their situation's probably different. They've got the time to devote and to commit completely to everything about fishing. Their lives center around it. Their family, they don't have families, or their family lives are arranged in a way where it doesn't take anything away from it. They have the financial resources. They've got everything clicking, and they spend tons of time on the water. For most people, it's not like that. Most of us out there, we have a family to take care of. We have a job we have to go to. We have other responsibilities that we have in life that we have to work at. And we don't have the time to put into fishing like a lot of these guys do that are at the top of the games. We simply do not have the time to do that. So that's one of the things you have to realize, is be easy on yourself, to realize that everybody's situation is different. Some people simply are set up to spend more time in the water, and they're naturally going to be better. But the thing about it, it doesn't matter what your situation is as far as your time situation or your responsibilities. you can just do the best that you can. I mean, that's the whole thing about it. If you've got a family to take care of and you've got to work 50 hours a week and you've got to mow the grass on the weekend, there's still something that you can do as far as that will allow you to work on your skills. And that's the whole thing when you're talking about self-doubt. It's all about increasing your skill level, your skill set. And basically when you're talking about skill sets, it's a matter of practicing. And practicing, again, it gets back to the time consideration. Some people simply have more time to practice. They got more time to put into it. But everybody has a little bit of time if you have that commitment and that passion to do it. So the first thing you have to do is determine how much time you have to devote to becoming a better angler. I mean, is it 5 minutes a day, or is it an hour a day, or whatever like that? And do something every day. It doesn't matter how small it is. It can be something as simple as watching one of my videos, or it could be something as simple as getting out in the backyard and working on your pitching and flipping technique. Or it could be something as simple as learning how to tie jig skirts. There's something that you can do every single day that will help build your skill set. And when you do that, every single time you build your skill set a little bit, it helps chip away at that self-doubt that you have as an angler. Because I know how powerful that it is. But the whole point about it is self-doubt is something that you have to take on yourself. It's something that other people really can't, come in and take away from you, because you gain confidence in your abilities. It's just like when I was, fighting in martial arts competition. I mean, every single skill that I learned, and the more flexible I got, and the more agile I got, and the more strong that I got, every single thing that I learned in my techniques took away my self-doubt when I was actually in a fight. And it's the same in fishing like that. Every single skill set that you can build is going to take away from that self-doubt. Some of the things that I can give you as far as practical tips that'll help you a little bit more is, first of all, trust your instincts and your intuition and your abilities as an angler. Because if you're watching this channel, odds are you're into learning, because this is a learning channel. This isn't an entertainment channel. This is a hardcore educational channel. So if you're watching this channel, you've already got that commitment to learn. So realize that you're absorbing this information right now. And if I teach you guys how to rig a Texas rig worm, or when to fish a crankbait in the pre-spawn, you can take that foundation that I'm giving you and trust yourself to put your own twist into it. Because I can tell you guys right now, I have fished with anglers that have every level of skill. I fish with rank amateurs. I fish with people that have never casted a rod and reel before. And I fished with the top pros. So I fished with everybody at their skill level. Everybody out there approaches the water, and they've got an imagination and an ingenuity completely their own. I have learned so much from guys that don't know anything about fishing, because they're willing to try stuff that I've never really considered, because my mind's so packed with information and and locked into the way I approach stuff a lot of times, that I shut myself down to new information. But if you're new and you don't know that much about fishing, sometimes that you don't know that a certain color shouldn't work in this situation, so you try something else and it could work. So trust the fact that your own instincts, your own intuition, your own creativity is your number one strength. That you have got to realize that. I don't care who it is. That's what makes certain anglers stand out over another. Because every one of you guys, if you went fishing with me and we were out on the lake, we would all have a different perception of how to fish down a certain stretch of shoreline. We may have a different bait we want to use. We may have a different color we want to use. And sometimes one person's right and sometimes the other person's right. So trust that. Trust the fact that you have a skill set that's uniquely your own, that nobody else can duplicate, and take comfort in that. That's the number one thing that will help you to eliminate self-doubt. And the second one, like I said out there, is just building your physical skill set. The more time that you have on the water to practice, the better you're going to get, simply. But you can offset that a lot. If you're one of those people that have a family to take care of and responsibilities, and I know what that's like. I know how much time that takes. Spend your time doing other stuff where you can learn off the water, you know, whether it be the videos or just the time working on your tackle, whatever. And then when you're on the water, you can really take advantage to maximize the time that you do have. But basically, just do the best you can, man. Just like I said, don't feel that you're not doing enough. Just because you're not out there. I see these guys, I see my buddies on Facebook that I don't even know how they pay their bills, because it seems like if they're not fishing, if they're not at a tournament, they're out they're out fun fishing, they're crappie fishing, cat fishing, and then they're hunting in between when they're not. It's like, when did these guys ever work? So don't compare yourself to that. Just do the best that you can in your own situation, and that's just going to all add up to taking, you know, away that self-doubt. Don't feel you're alone with this. Everybody out there has an element of self-doubt in their fishing, and that's just sort of the nature of the thing. But like I said, you can chip away at self-doubt by simply, you know, realizing that you're not in the same situation as everybody else. Make the best of your time, practice your skill sets when you can, and realize that your own instincts and individuality are unique. That's going to allow you to see water from a different situation. So anyway, that's just a few things I can tell you guys about dealing with self-doubt, which is a powerful negative in fishing. We all deal with it. I don't care who it is. We all deal with it. And it's something that you could overcome, though. I can tell you that, because like in my own fishing, even though I may have like some self-doubt of some techniques that I have, I know that when I go to the lake, I'm at the point where I know I'm going to catch fish. The only variable is how long it's going to take me to find those fish. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes to find them. Sometimes it may take me 5 days to find them. So that's the variable that you have to realize. So anyway, just a few tips I want to talk about that, guys. It's a big part of fishing. The mental side of fishing is the most overlooked part of fishing there is, because it's not flashy, it's not boring. I can't give you a secret bait color and give you instant gratification. But this whole mental part of fishing, which self-doubt is part of it, if you guys want to become good fishermen, good anglers, you better start realizing how important the mental part of fishing is, because it's the number one part, I can tell you right now. And it's the part that is least popular. If I do a video on the mental part of fishing, it doesn't get any views. If I do a video on my secret crankbait color, it gets a ton of views. And that's the opposite of the way it should be. And if I can tell you guys anything about that, as far as what you can learn from my channel, is pay attention to that right there. And I'll try to interject this stuff, the mental part of it, as much as I can. But I don't want to like scare everybody off from watching the channel, because it's not what they want to hear. So I try to mix it up a little bit. But anyway, that's today's tip. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, appreciate it. So, you know, if you guys haven't subscribed and you like this video, hit that subscribe button. And also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be working on it. The channel's growing really quick. I'm guessing that probably sometime in the next couple months, probably the next 3 months, we're going to hit 50,000 subscribers. And when we hit 50,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a free on-the-water lesson at Table Rock Lake. So hope you guys help me get to 50,000, and we'll give away that little prize there. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good day. See you.